So, it's time for part 2 of our series. Today we're going to be doing Muse, who is my absolute favorite band of all time, by a long shot. So let's get into it. Because Muse has such a drastically different style in each one of their albums, it's impossible to write a Muse song unless you kind of like pick a style you're going after. So I'm going to pick Origin of Symmetry because that's my favorite album of all time, of course. Maybe we'll do other albums in the future. Step 1. Look cool. Now I look like Matt Bellamy. 100%. Also, I got a cool shirt, just letting you know. Step 2 is to listen to Rachmaninoff. So now that you're a master of classical music, so you hear these influences largely in chord progression of the album. You also hear it specifically in Space Dementia, where Bellamy uses very strange chords and really interesting dynamics to create this great classical atmosphere mixed with the rock and maybe even progressive rock feel. So we're not going to go into piano because I'm not exactly the best piano player. We're going to have to pick a chord progression that is a little more complex than the things you would hear in rock music or in pop music. And I already have a little bit of an idea of what I kind of want to do, but we'll see what I come up with. Other things Muse likes to do a lot in their music is use ascension or dissension of notes. So pick a direction for their notes to move in, and the notes continually go that direction. So maybe you could think about, Citizen Erased, where the part is it's always going down during that part. Or you could think of like the chorus of Space Dementia, where the synth bass is constantly creeping up. Another thing they use is octave, which I just showed you in Citizen Erased, where, you're jumping from one note down there to one note up here. And they've continued that trend on throughout their whole career, so you can hear it in like The Handler, where they go. The last thing that they do a lot is they, rather than returning to the start after 4 measures of a chord progression, they continue the chord progression. I can give you an example of that as well. So if you listen to Bliss, instead of going like this, which would be the normal way to play it, instead of doing that where he stays on the C minor, he continues the chord progression to the next spot. So he does this. He goes back down here right after just being here for 1 measure. I'm also going to use the chord progression they used in the chorus of Citizen Erased. It's a great catchy progression that will be able to catch people's attention, so it goes exactly like this. So we have our general chord structure and our general way we're going to be playing the notes and the verses. We're going to be picking just like in microcuts. The only things we really have to do now is get some crazy outro. If you're listening to something like microcuts, there really isn't even a bridge. There's just a crazy outro. And that's the type of thing we're going to be going for here. So let's try to think of something that goes with that. A lot of times in their heavy progressions, in their rock progressions, they use accidental notes and half steps to climb up to different notes. So if you listen to microcuts, it goes. So you hear those half step increments. We're going to be using those as well. That'll work perfect. That's also in a weird signature. So we'll change the time signature when we get there, which is something they also do in microcuts, which is my favorite song from them other than The Handler. They go to 6/4 in the verses and then they go back to 4/4 for the chorus. Now it's time to work on your falsetto. Okay, maybe that was a little bit of an exaggeration. No, it wasn't. Nope, it wasn't an exaggeration at all. That's exactly what it's going to sound like. You hear that in like almost all their music, especially in their older stuff. He goes crazy with the falsetto. So make sure if you're writing a Muse song that you got somebody that can do a falsetto. No, I forgot my glasses. Well, they're on now. So we'll have to do something crazy in the chorus like that for the falsetto. That'll work. That was my first try as well. For lyrics, you just gotta pick something crazy that has to do with something random. I mean, Microcuts is about him getting sliced in the head by little swinging pendulum axes while in a dream in the desert. So he sings about cuts in his brain. What could we sing about? Cuts in his brain. How about we sing about the lumps in our eyes? That'll be perfect. So we get the lumps in our eyes. Can't forget that beautiful fuzz effect either. Don't worry, that'll be in there too, guys. And you can't forget those slick bass grooves. That should work. Okay, so now we gotta add some synth arpeggios, which is the stuff that starts off the song Bliss. So you get those little twinkling synths that go up and down. So to do that, we gotta get a synth sound, find out what your chord is. So our chord is D sharp minor. So the notes that would go along with that arpeggio would be the D sharp, which is the root note. Then we got the F sharp, which is the third. Then we got the fifth, which is the A sharp. And then all you have to do is you have to copy those and then paste them. That's my cat. What's up, buddy? You like the song? Then you gotta paste them, starting with the D sharp, and then do that in 16th notes, and do that continually until you have a full arpeggio. If we played this back, we would get just like in Bliss. So now we gotta get some strings in the chorus to make it sound big and huge and crazy, like Muse. The song goes from B down to F sharp. We got A sharp there, and then we have the dissension, goes up to a D sharp, C sharp, and then starts over again. We're doing basically the chorus the Citizen Erase, just with a different key, and then it restarts. That'll be the second time. So these are just the root notes, but then you need to fill in what the chords are. Something else Matt does a lot during his vocal melodies is sing a lot of legato notes, which means he holds out the notes. A perfect example of this is if you go to Exopolitics. The beat is something that you would expect somebody to sing something quicker over, but rather than taking that approach, he sings the notes in a very long, stretched out manner, which gives it a more melodic and classical feel over a rhythmic feel. That's why you hear me when I'm recording these parts. I'm going to be singing a lot of drawn out notes and not a lot of and we got to sing about our eye lumps. Against us. Don't forget the famous Bellamy breaths too. I'm not going to be doing them for every time though, because that would get a little crazy. Just a little bit. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to link a couple songs that are similar to this one that I just finished up that are originals of mine. Also, make sure you like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more. Leave requests if you have other artists that you'd like to see me cover. Enjoy!